Welcome to the deep dive. So today we're digging into The Conjuring, Last Rites, and specifically the critical reaction. It's interesting because it landed, right in that mixed territory, low 60s on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, definitely mixed. And our goal here is sort of to unpack that, right? Figure out what critics actually liked versus where things felt maybe a bit tired.
And why fans and critics seem to walk away with such different feelings.
Exactly. The main takeaway seems to be, well, Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson are fantastic, giving it this real emotional punch. But at the same time, there's this heavy weight of franchise familiarity. The scare tactics felt predictable to many.
Okay, let's start with that emotional core then, because you're right, pretty much every review highlights Farmiga and Wilson. They call them the saving grace.
They really are. Sources call them the emotional lodestar. It's their chemistry, I think. It elevates scenes that might otherwise just be standard horror beats, Turns them into real character moments.
Right, so it's less about the jump scare itself and more about how Ed and Lorraine react, how it affects them.
Precisely. And it allows the film to finally really focus on their personal story, their faith, their regrets, what this life has cost them personally.
That makes sense for a final chapter, giving that payoff.
It does. And some critics argue that this character focus kind of had to happen, like maybe the horror mechanics themselves were running a bit thin. So for viewers who are invested in the Warrens, seeing that personal side get the spotlight, well, that feels earned. It's cathartic.
Okay, so if the performances were so strong and the character arc landed for fans, where did it stumble for the critics? That brings us to the structure, the scares.
Yeah, this is where the main friction lies, the direction. A lot of reviewers felt it just didn't surprise. It uses that established Conjuring playbook, the slow camera move, the sound build.
And the jolt.
Exactly. If you've seen the other films, you kind of know what's coming. The scares often feel telegraphed, as they say. The music gives it away, the camera lingers just so.
So it's more about atmosphere than actual, innovative scares.
Pretty much. And that predictability, well, it seems to expand to the script, too.
Ah, the soap opera melodrama comments I saw.
Right. In trying to give closure, sources say it sometimes drifts. It feels a bit like a TV miniseries wrapping up loose ends, maybe. Lots of exposition.
Right, explaining things rather than showing them.
And that ties into another point some critics raised, how it handles the true crime aspects, like the Smurl case inspiration.
The fictionalization, why was that a sticking point here?
Well, the argument is that maybe in smoothing things out for that neat emotional closure for the Warrens, it potentially simplified or sanitized some of the messier parts of the real accounts. That trade-off bothered some reviewers. It fed into that feeling of melodrama over gritty reality.
Okay, gotcha. So pulling it all together, the verdict seems to be that the film made a choice.
Definitely. It chose closure over risk.
A farewell letter to the Warrens, as you said.
Exactly. And audiences clearly responded to that the box office was strong. People wanted that goodbye.
But for critics hoping for something new in horror,
It felt conservative,
Yeah.
safe. It didn't really push the genre forward.
So for you listening, the takeaway here is really about weighing what you want from a film like this. Is it that emotional fidelity, that character conclusion?
Which Last Rites seems to deliver.
Or is it about innovative risk, something that genuinely surprises you structurally or scares you in a new way?
Right. The sources basically say, see it if you care about Ed and Lorraine's ending, maybe skip it if you're hunting for the next evolution in horror, which leaves us with a pretty big question, doesn't it? If a film succeeds mainly as a send-off but doesn't innovate much, and it still does well commercially, does that mean audiences, especially with long-running franchises, actually prefer satisfying character closure over real horror invention? What does that suggest for future sequels in general?
That's definitely something to think about. Got any thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions or favorite moments in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more reviews and content on the latest movies, dramas, and books. And hit the bell icon so you won't miss any new updates.